All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. So I saw a video, all right, of one of the brothers. His page is GMS Dedication. All right, he was doing a video on this article. All right, so I took a look at it, and you know, I'm low willing. I'm gonna do a video on it. So I'm saying low willing, but I'm doing it. But hey, you know, real quick. So I looked up, you know, I try to get information on this from, you know, other websites, other sources, and I noticed something very interesting. Now I did see the clip, all right, the video, which let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if it's in this article. Okay, it's not in this article, but I did see the video. Let me go back to it because the brother played it on his in the beginning of his video. All right, where this guy is heard. You can hear him as you're asking him questions about it. Okay, let's play it.
The order released on August 31st and signed by Lance Himes is a second amended order for non-congregate sheltering to be used throughout Ohio. The order states that FEMA sheltering will be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine at home. Governor, who decides whether a resident is safe for self-quarantine? What are the determinants? Does this apply to the entire Ohio population? And what authority do you have to remove people from their homes?
I think that primarily, Jack, that's going to be determined by individuals who think they're not safe at home. I'll get more information on that, and I'll report back. But that would be my take on it.
So you hear that, right? They mentioned everything about the FEMA sheltering and, you know, for people who can't quote unquote quarantine at home, so on and so forth, right? And he said primarily that will be up to the people, you know, themselves, and he'll get more information and get back on that. And this was September 3rd. Now, I looked up, and these are the kind of articles that you see, right? Coronavirus in Ohio, DeWine dismisses rumor of FEMA quarantine camps, which is a lie. All right, this guy's capping, he's lying. All right, and I'm going to read the language he uses in which you can tell he's lying, because there is such an order, all right, that there are quarantine camps. They call them shelters, okay? And you heard him say it in the you know, in the video. Now, why didn't, if this is true, right, and these are just rumors, why didn't he shut it down when they were asking him the question? He listened to it, acknowledged that it was true, and then he answered, right? Now, before I play it again, another one here. Ohio governor forced to deny rumors of coronavirus camps as unfounded conspiracy theories goes viral, right? Or theories go viral. Now, when you read it, which we're going to read, the language he uses is in terms of, he's not saying that there aren't any FEMA shelters. What he's saying is that they're not going to force you into them, okay? But the way they've captioned the headline, you would think that he's dismissing the fact that there are any FEMA shelters at all. No, that is, they do have FEMA camps that they're calling shelters. But like they always do, they make it seem as though it's optional. Oh, yeah, you can come in. But hold on, the CDC director, all right, I believe it was the CDC director, and there was a video. He opened his mouth and said, we have to go into the homes and find those that are infected and remove them and isolate them. Okay? If I could find that video, let's play this real quick.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Governor. The order released on August 31st and signed by Lance Himes is a second amended order for non-congregate sheltering to be used throughout Ohio. The order states that FEMA sheltering will be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine at home. Governor, who decides whether a resident is safe for self-quarantine? What are the determinants? Does this apply to the entire Ohio population? And what authority do you have to remove people from their homes?
I think primarily, Jack, that's going to be determined by individuals who think they're not safe at home. I'll get more information on that, and I'll report back. But that would be my take on it.
Shalom. All right, so you can hear how he doesn't deny the fact, all right, but the only thing he says, now then he gonna turn around and say conspiracy theory is crazy and ridiculous, but you just acknowledge the fact that this is actually happening. But the only thing you said was it will be mainly up to the people, but you'll get more information, all right, and then you'll get back and da 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 da. At the end of the day, man, this guy is ultimately, okay, he's ultimately trying to control, all right, the narrative. Okay, it's called damage control. They don't want people. They don't want to quote unquote scare people away. Okay, they don't want to scare people away from those FEMA camps. And now when you watch certain movies, okay, about like so-called the Nazi Germany and stuff like that. Okay, you see how they advertised and made it look like it's a nice welcoming place, and it's in your benefit. And then once them people got in there, all right, they found out the hard way that no, it wasn't for their benefit. Okay, so now before I read this article here, okay, I looked up Natural News to see how authentic the site was, and of course you got people saying no, it's a far right wing conspiracy theorist site, and so on and so forth. So I looked up the actual content, the information, okay, and there is truth to it, okay, there is truth to it, man. They're just trying to twist it up. So let's read this real quick. This is from Independent, all right, .co.uk, and it says Ohio governor forced to deny rumors of coronavirus camps as unfounded conspiracy theories go viral. Now, it says the governor of Ohio was forced to address unfounded conspiracy theories as fake rumors went viral across social media in recent days about so-called FEMA camps set up across the state to enforce mandatory quarantines. But hold on, did he not just acknowledge? Did he not just acknowledge that? Governor Mike DeWine described the conspiracy theories as crazy, ridiculous internet rumors during a news conference on Tuesday afternoon about the coronavirus pandemic. He spoke after unverified claims that had no basis in reality circulated this week, alleging the federal government had established camps throughout Ohio for COVID-19 patients as part of an apparent effort to enforce quarantine orders. But hold on, this has no basis. We just heard them. You see how they switch their tongue? It says, I want to talk about a rumor. I don't spend much time talking about rumors that are on the internet because we wouldn't get much done if we did that all the time. But this one, I've gotten so many calls over the weekend that I thought we would just have to deal with it today. Mr. DeWine said, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but it says it's in the category of crazy, ridiculous internet rumors, right? Now listen to the language he uses. It says Mr. DeWine explained during the conference that the rumors likely started from misinformation emanating from an order issued from the Ohio Department of Health. That order provided reimbursement to COVID-19 patients in the state who were self-isolating away from loved ones in sheltered places that they had to pay throughout the pandemic. Having quarantine housing options gives people the choice of a safe, comfortable place to recover from the virus while others can stay in the original housing, right? The bottom line, neither FEMA nor ODH are going to set up FEMA camps for anyone to quarantine against their will. What we are doing is making available a safe place for people to stay when they have loved ones they are trying to protect and they have no other place to go. Listen to his wording very carefully, all right? They're trying to be slick. He says, the bottom line, neither FEMA nor ODH are going to set up FEMA camps for anyone to quarantine against their will. Notice how this first line makes it sound as if he's saying, no, ain't no such thing as FEMA camps. Okay? But then he turns around and says, what we are doing, and who's the we? FEMA and ODH. All right? Is making available a safe place. So is that not going to be an area set up by FEMA for people to stay when they have loved ones? Is that not going to be considered a quarantine? They are trying to protect, and they have no other place to go. He just literally refuted something that he just agreed to, okay? Just in soft words. That's what they're trying to do, okay? You have to listen to the language very carefully. You turn around and say, no, neither FEMA nor ODH are going to set up FEMA camps. But what we are doing, so that now you're re-including yourself again, is making available a safe place. What the hell is that? Is that not a shelter or a location set up by FEMA? Now they'll say, oh, for anyone against their will. But what do we know about the history of these people? Are they not the same people who said, oh, this lockdown is gonna be for 2 weeks? You know, a couple weeks. We're months deep. They shut everything down and they just kept going and go. First you have to wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask. Now you're gonna get fined if you don't wear a mask. They keep switching up their words, man. You can't trust them. Okay? Yes, they do have FEMA camps. Yes, they will set up FEMA camps. Yes, they will forcefully take your ass into FEMA camps. Okay? Because they say that now, but hold up. What about what's going on in Quebec? New Zealand. You know why? Because once the cases start going up again and things start looking more and more deadly, this little sweet talk of options and, you know, if they don't have a place to go, and they're not trying to hear that. Okay, when that time comes, you're gonna be like, hold up, but I thought the governor said it's not gonna be against our will. Well, it ain't about that right now. Okay, this is just damage control, man. Okay, this is just damage control. So, and the reason he's doing that is because there's so much information, all right, or the news about it, all right, basically went out very quickly, and a lot of people heard it, you know. And you got to understand that these devils, man, they know how to speak, man. You can't fall for their ploys. Okay, now I'm gonna play it again so you can hear the language that was used. All right, when they asked him this question. Okay, now if it was false, he should have shut it down right then, and he should have said, "Hold on, let me correct you real quick. This is actually, you know."
Mansfield. Hey, Jack.
Hi, Governor. The order released on August 31st and signed by Lance Himes is a second amended order for non-congregate sheltering to be used throughout Ohio. The order states that FEMA sheltering will be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine at home. Governor, who decides whether a resident is safe for self-quarantine?
He doesn't have the answer for that. The answer he gave was what he thought. And he turned around and said he's going to get more information and get back to you on that. So he doesn't have an answer for that. So he can tell you something for damage control, but then the orders could tell you, no, it ain't up to the people. It's not up to the people because listen, man, the justification for these people to forcibly come and take your ass to these isolation centers is that when they tell you to isolate and people are not obeying that, they're going to come there and they're going to take you somewhere where they can make sure you're isolated. All right? So all this slick talk and this, you know, say something and pull back, and that's not going to work, man. People already know, all right, what they're planning. We already know what the end goal is, man. You already have it in your, if I could pull it up, FEMA executive orders. Oh, man, I want to see if I'd be able to even find it. Okay, no, it's not this. Because I know in one of the executive orders, you know, at first it used to be easier. Okay, a list. It used to be easier to pop, it would just pop up, but you know, all right, I could probably pull it off here. Okay, somebody got it listed here. Now, in one of them, here we go. Listen to this. Executive Order 11000, seizure of all American people for workforces under federal supervision, including the splitting of families if the government finds it necessary. Right? Now, there's another one right here. It goes into forceful relocation if the area is designated as unsafe. Oh, here it is. Wait, no, it's not this. Okay. I think it's this one here. Executive Order 11004, seizure of all housing and finance authorities to establish forced relocation, designated areas to be abandoned as unsafe. Now, what is deemed as what's unsafe? That's subjective. Okay, forceful relocation. If an area is designated to be unsafe, oh well, your household is unsafe because such and such, or the spike in coronavirus cases here is it's insane. So forceful relocation. Now, if these are FEMA orders, where are they gonna relocate you to? You got to think about that. Where are they gonna relocate you to, man? Okay. There's a lot of information that they call conspiracy theory, but just because what they've done is they've conditioned people so when they slap the term conspiracy theory behind something, people are quick to disbelieve it. But best believe you're hearing about it, you're reading about it, and you're gonna be in it. And then maybe you'll believe it when it's in your face. Okay, they say 9/11 was a conspiracy theory. They say chemtrails is a conspiracy theory. They say the fluoride and the different dangerous chemicals, all right, in your water are conspiracy theories. They say the New World Order is a conspiracy theory, but these are all real things. Okay? If there's anything you should have learned this year, is that you can't trust these people, man. Okay? They're all about propaganda, controlling the narrative, and damage control. And here he's switching up his tongue because, like we heard in the clip here, as they asked him, he acknowledged it. And let's finish hearing what he said. Let's hear it one more time, and then we'll read this article here from Natural News.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Governor. The order released on August 31st and signed by Lance Himes is a second amended order for non-congregate sheltering to be used throughout Ohio. The order states that FEMA sheltering will be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine at home. Governor, who decides whether a resident is safe for self-quarantine? What are the determinants? Does this apply to the entire Ohio population? And what authority do you have to remove people from their homes?
I think primarily, Jack, that's going to be determined by individuals who think they're not safe at home.
But he didn't answer the last question. What authority do you have to remove people from their homes? He didn't answer that. Right? Now let's hear what he says after this.
I'll get more information on that, and I'll report back.
You'll get more information on that, and you'll report back. You didn't answer the last question because apparently you didn't have enough information to answer it. But then you're able to turn around and quickly dismiss quarantining people against their will. But when they asked you about it, you turned around and said, "Well, Now, given this was September 3rd, all right, and this apparently this tweet was on September 8th, okay. But look, man, they're shifting to a draconian style world, man. Their laws are gonna be you do or what I'm saying, we make you do. All right, that's the only language they're gonna be speaking, man. Okay. Now, before I read the article, let me get this. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, in their mind. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." So you got to be able to what? To pick up on the way they speak, man. They say one thing, and then they run around the question so many times you forget what kind of question you're trying to ask. All right. But they speak deceitful words, man. But their intents are hurtful. Okay? Yes, that's what they want to do. And let's read this. This is from naturalnews.com. It says, child quarantine camps. CDC opens up FEMA camps to hold children who might have been exposed to COVID-19. Now, you also got to keep in mind one thing they do is, whether they label a conspiracy theory or they say, oh, we disagree with it, or whatever they say about it, they're bringing out the information about it. Whether it's infamous or it's famous, it's information about it to desensitize your mind. Oh, yes, there is such things as FEMA shelters, but we're not going to forcibly quarantine you in them. But a while ago, you wouldn't even admit that there were such things as FEMA shelters. So you see what they're doing? They're making you focus on the fact that yes, there are, but we're not going to quarantine you in there by force. But at least they got the point that they are. They've established it in your mind that there are such things. As well, a couple years ago, they'll tell you, hey, no such thing exists. So slowly but surely, they're conditioning you to it. All right, and right now, he's only saying that because he doesn't have the propaganda justification. All right, for that. So let's read. It says here, the natural news: the state of Ohio, under leadership of Republican Governor Mike DeWine, is opening up quarantine camps all over or all across the state to detain children who are suspected of being infected with the Wuhan coronavirus. According to a U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention advisory, kids who are believed to potentially have the dreaded China virus could be forcibly detained at these camps, which will be run by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And what I'm gonna do after this video is I'm gonna go look up that order and read exactly what it says. All right. Hopefully, maybe there'll be some information in there. It says, in the event that a child is deemed to not have an adequate quarantine space at home, FEMA and CDC will now have the power to abduct the child overnight and possibly much longer until it is determined that he or she can safely return home. Now, that's the thing. This is something that they actually can do. They have planned to come in. When they come in to get your ass, all right, usually it's going to be in the AM, all right, when it's nice and quiet out and when you're asleep, you're not expecting it. But then they're gonna turn around and say, "Well, we didn't explicitly say that we're gonna come overnight and abduct your child." That's what they planned, but that's not what they came out and said. So now they'll come around and say, "Oh, well, see that they're adding to our words." But then when the time comes, this is exactly what they're gonna do. All right. And ultimately, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, just wait, and it'll happen to you. And when you are, all right, a self-testimony, maybe then you can prove to yourself that, this is that in fact the harsh reality of the truth that's coming. It says, tell school administrators about any extra supplies your child may need to safely make it through a night away from home, the CDC wrote in its official advisory to parents. Well, that's interesting. Tell school administrators about any extra supplies your child may need to safely make it through a night away from home. Why? Why say such things? Are you planning to keep people's children away from home overnight? Bring extra medicines, special foods, and now these are in quotes. Okay? And like I said, I'm gonna go read this. It says, bring extra medicines, special foods, or supplies your child would need if separated overnight. Complete a backpack card and tuck one in your child's backpack, and your wallet. For what? It's like if somebody says, "Yo, we're going out," bring a gun just in case. It doesn't matter that they said just in case. The fact that they said bring a gun, that just turned the whole going out into a dangerous situation right then and there, man. Okay. Ohio Department of Health Interim Director Lance Himes created these camps through a statewide order issued August 31st. The order specifically pertains to children who are unable to self-quarantine in their place of residence for the supposed purpose of isolating those diagnosed with or showing symptoms of COVID-19. The three types of people who will be sent to Ohio FEMA camps include those who test positive for COVID-19, who do not require hospitalization but need isolation, including those exiting from hospitals. Those who have been exposed to COVID-19 who do not require hospitalization. So if you're asymptomatic, I just said it. Asymptomatic high-risk individuals needing social distancing as a precautionary measure. Now, you got to keep in mind, how do they know that you're high risk? How do they know all this? Because when you get tested, they have all this information on you. Okay? You're in the record system of, yeah, such and such has been tested. All right? And at that point, they can that's all the justification they need. All right, if they want to fabricate it, whatever they want to do. Oh, well, we tested you and then your DNA and then the things changed. Man, if they coming out and saying dead people got coronavirus and people who didn't even get tested, but just because they were registered to get tested have coronavirus, then I mean, at this point, so how can you trust them? It says, "Don't worry, parents. COVID-19 concentration camps will cure us all." The above descriptions are a direct quote from the Ohio government and the CDC, as well as Dan Tierney, Governor DeWine's press secretary. According to Tierney, Ohioans need not worry about concentration camp elements of the new program because it is for people's own good, he reassures us, or he assures us. The order gives the state of Ohio the ability to draw down federal funding to reimburse the local, I'm guessing I should say FEMA and health department, or EMA. Okay, the local EMA, all right, Emergency Management Association, and health department when a non-congregate shelter is needed. Tierney is quoted saying these shelters are used when an individual is unable to safely quarantine or isolate in their home. Okay, but now who's going to determine if an individual is unable to safely quarantine or isolate in their home? What if the individual doesn't mind? What if they still want to stay there? Okay, that's why the person asked, okay, who's gonna, you know what I'm saying, what power do you have to remove people from their homes? How is this gonna be determined? Okay, now it says Tierney further contends that these new FEMA concentration camps, now I'm pretty sure they don't call it FEMA concentration camps, all right, because if they did that, they would just scare people away. So that's why he tried to be slick, all right, in the language he used in his tweet by dismissing the term. You see how he put in quotes FEMA camps and replacing it with a safe place for people to stay. My man, it's still the same thing. All right, the concept is still the same. The word has changed, but the concept is still the same. All right. It says Tierney further contends that these new FEMA concentration camps for suspected COVID-19 cases are no different than the shelters set up by FEMA following hurricanes and other natural disasters. But see, the difference is the conditions and why these shelters were set up. Okay? These shelters under hurricanes are, okay, we're giving you a place to stay. These shelters for quarantines are, we can't let you leave until we know it's safe. All right? The intent of the order is to provide a safe and healthy space for the individual who needs to be quarantined or isolated as determined by local needs, he insists. It says this also helps protect family members from exposure. FEMA has FAQs and more information available as to how a child will be determined by a state to not have a quote-unquote safe residence of their own in which to quarantine. Tierney does not have an answer, indicating that the methodology remains ambiguous. So how do you know that they're not going to force people to quarantine? You didn't have an answer for it. You know? That shows you that they're lying, man, because you didn't have an answer for it, but you can turn around and say that's not what we're going to do when you don't know what they're planning to do. All right? What's going to determine if the place is safe? Okay? Who gets removed? Under what conditions do they get removed? Because in Quebec, they doing it forcibly. In New Zealand, they're not playing games. It says the history of FEMA camps in our country goes back many years with various excuses having been put forth by the government to explain away their existence. Back in 2012, for instance, we reported that FEMA camps were supposedly going to be used to house refugees. Yeah, we are from the government and we are here to help, wrote one big league politics commenter about this preposterous new development. The most frightening words you can hear. Boy, this man, look, man, this place is finished, man. There's about to be hell on this place. It says, for more related news about Wuhan coronavirus, hysteria, and the rush towards a completely dystopian society where everyone is locked away in FEMA camps for their own good, check out pandemic.news. Okay, now let's get a few articles, man, because now, all right, we are in that time, man. All right, we are in that time, and as we approach, all right, the ending of the year into next year, and you know these draconian measures get taken up more and more. Okay, the vaccine comes out, you know they're gonna have more and more justification to do these things, man. Okay, don't believe their lies. Second Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So a lot of miseries and hell are coming to this place, man. They're going to be whooping your ass, beating your ass, killing people, torturing people, raping women. Okay? Man, they're going to be doing a lot of things, man, because it's going to start off as one thing and it's going to unfold into another. The reason all this chaos is breaking loose is ultimately designed by these elites. Okay, not ultimately, but it's designed by these elites for population control, man. They're trying to decrease the population. Because once they see that their conventional birth rate decrease is not working, then they kick in the death rate increase. Okay, and that's through chaos. But now ultimately it's judgment from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. Now this is Ezekiel 33 and 33. It says, "And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them." All right. So when this happens, man, you gonna know that we told you these things, man. Starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Okay. And what you got to keep in mind is that in the past, all right, before they were ready to institute these camps, they didn't even bother to refute it like as hard as they are now. But now that they're seeing that, okay, we're actually trying to do this and eyes are going to be on us, we have to shut down any narratives that can combat what we're trying to push. So keep your eyes open, man. All right, and watch out for, whatever they're bringing, man. Okay, these next few months are going to be very interesting, so we got to just, pray to the Heavenly Father, all right, in the name of Yahushai. All right, continue to stay in the spirit and watch. Okay, the scriptures say watch as well as pray. So with that, I hope you were edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.